So in this video we're going to be using the Visual Studio IDE once again 2013, and we're just going to be going over some of the basic game development concepts. It's going to be a little messy, but you'll get the idea. I'm not really trying to go over every aspect of game development because that would be impossible. So what we want to do is create something where we have a sprite on the screen and we can move it around and it can detect collisions. Okay, so that's basically what we want to be able to do, and once you have that down you can go ahead and move on to greater things from there. I'm not going to be explaining the the things that you should know if you were to take a beginner course, even though this is basically beginner, but I would say some of the things here are more intermediate than anything. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and start this new project. I'm going to go here. I'm in Visual Basic since that's what we're using for this tutorial, and I'm going to go ahead and start a WPF application here, and I'm going to call it let's call it Fireball. There we go. Yeah, that's fine. So call it Fireball. Go ahead and start that up. And as we know, we have our interface here and we have our XAML down here. The first thing I want to do, because I kind of already know, I have an idea that most of the pictures I find that are GIFs, animated GIFs, are going to have a black background. Besides, I think the black background looks better, so I'm just going to go ahead and change the background to this by going to the brush, sorry, and then I'm going to go here and I'm going to change that to black right there. Now the second thing I want to be able to do is go ahead and change this from grid to canvas, and if I just change this part right here, it'll automatically change the lower part of that down there. And I'm just going to add some objects here that are going to be the target. So let's go ahead and go here and we'll go to rectangle. I'm going to add a rectangle here, and I'm going to hold down Alt and drag another rectangle here. I'm going to select the window down here so I get these little markers here so I can expand the window a little bit more. I'll go ahead and move this around. Check my canvas, same size the window, that's good. The second thing I want to be able to do is go ahead and change the color of these, but since I already had this brush open, it's still open, and I can just go ahead and change the colors this way so I can know the difference between these rectangles. I'm just using these as objects to be able to determine whether something was hit or whether something wasn't hit. I'm going to call this, I'll just call it target A, and this one will be target B. So make sure we name everything. Now what I want to be able to do is go get my character, my main character, and I wanted that to be an animated GIF so we can kind of know how to import animated GIFs inside of Visual Basic, especially when you're using it for games. You kind of have to know how to use animated GIFs and sprites and stuff like that. So if you don't know what an animated GIF is, if I go to online and I search for something, I search for Fireball here. You see, this is just a picture with many pictures inside, and it's just playing it over and over again. This is an animated GIF. And basically all I have to do is right click and save this, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to save that to a folder on my desktop, and then I'm going to bring it into Visual Basic. So the best way to do this is go back to Visual Studio, and I'm going to right click on this solution right here, and I'm going to go all the way down here to Open Folder and File Explorer. Once that happens, I get the folder that this is in. Now I'm going to go back to the image that I had on the here. I'm going to go ahead and right click that, and I go ahead and save that image as and bring it to that area that I had it before. So make sure you go ahead and find that location. So what I did was I just went here, I got that location, and I go ahead and paste it in there, and I'm going to just change that to Fireball 2D, keep that there, and then save that, and there it's saved. I can go ahead and close that down. So just to let you know, like if I were to bring that GIF into this project, it would not work it wouldn't work the way you think it would. Like when I went to the website and I was able to get that to work, it wouldn't work the same um, because VB doesn't really recognize the GIF the same way as a web page would recognize a GIF. So what we're going to need is a little bit of help on that. And the best place to go for that is to, if I just go to Google and I just type WPF animated GIF, just click that up in here, and here's the documentation. Here's the first thing that comes up here, and this is where you can download it. They actually tell you everything that you need to know about this and how to download it, and how to incorporate it into your project. There's also another way to go about doing this, which I prefer this way, is you go into your WPF or your Visual Studio project, and you go to it's under project, and you go all the way down here to the manage NuGet packages. From there, I'm going to go over here, make sure I'm on NuGet.org under the online, and then I'm going to go here and I'm going to type WPF get animated GIF. Should be only one that shows up, right? The first one that shows up. This is the one we're looking for. And as you can see, it's the same one that we found online. So this is two ways to get it here. So I can go ahead and install that into this project. It's not going to install it in WPF as a whole. So every project that you're using it in, you have to install it because it's just installing the classes that you're going to need. And after I click that, you see this check comes here, and then I get this package config here. So I know that it's been installed there. Now I have it in my project, and now I can go ahead and bring that that image inside of my my application. Now, if you remember, what we did was we went to the folder and we put that image into the solutions folder that we had before, but you notice I don't see it here. If this is the case, it just means that you don't have everything showing here. So if I have my solution selected and then I look up here, I have these options but nothing really to show everything. What you have to do is make sure you have this project selected. The project files will show up below that, but it's not showing everything, because once I have the project selected, not double clicked, but I have it selected, and I go up here, now I have this extra icon here that says show all files. So you see it's not there when I have the solution selected, but now it's there when I have the project selected. So I'm going to show all files, and now if I look, here is the picture that I put up in there, and it's giving me a preview of that picture. If I just drag that picture in here now, it's not going to really work like animated GIF. It's just going to be a still image. So what I'm going to have to do is go down here into my XAML, and I want to go ahead and make create a image. I don't want a rectangle. I'm just go down here, and first I have to do a few more things before I'm even able to use this, right? So I have to go here and add something, some information into my declaration up here, and it's just one line of code or one line of XAML here. Just put it over here right below this, and I'm going to say CMLS, and then I'm going to say that, I'm going to say GIF. And this is what we want right here. As I started typing, it came up because, remember, we already had it included in here. So once that is the case, I go ahead and close that. I'll get rid of that right there. Yeah, so that worked out fine. Now I can come down here and I can start adding what I need to add as far as the image goes. So we want an image tag. Make that an image tag, and then we're gonna say GIF, And you can even pull an image out of here. Let's see if I pull an image. It's not going to let me do that because I have this half typed. There we go. So we'll go ahead and pull an image out here, and now you can see once I pull that out here, I have my image tag. So you don't have to go ahead typing all that stuff out like what I was doing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and call that GIF image behavior, and I want animated source, and then I can give it the source name. And it's because this is hold on, I overwrote that. So because this is inside of my project folder, I don't have to go through any sort of gymnastics to get to it. I just go ahead and take this name right here. I'm gonna just take this name exactly. I like doing that so I can make sure I have it. And I'm just going to go ahead and paste it right there. And I got an error here because this is too close. Let me give it this. Let's call it ship. There we go. Alright, so I have my ship here, and that should be good. I'll just leave it like this for now. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this. Now I want to go ahead and run this just to make sure that my animated GIF is working right, and make sure my link and everything else I put up in there is working right. So I'm gonna go ahead and run it and see what happens from here. So I got an error because we just forgot a step, and one of the steps is to make this out of a resource. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna right click this, and I'm gonna include this in the project. That's what I want to do, and then it becomes a resource, and I can see here it's a resource. So once we do that, I can go ahead and save it, and now it should run. Doesn't run. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, the same thing. We're not referring to it. Okay, so we're gonna have to make sure, check our names. So I'm gonna check the name. Let me look at the name is there. Name is there. When everything is right, everything looks about right. This is correct. So basically I'm just gonna have to clean this and rebuild it, because sometimes the changes that you make don't take effect. So I'll clean it, rebuild it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and run that, and there we go. So now we're gonna change this image behavior auto start to true. And when I run it, there it is. There's our animated GIF playing in our application. And actually, if I go ahead and close this down and I get rid of this auto start thing right here, the natural behavior of this is to be in auto start mode. You see, so I don't really have to have the auto start there. And now you see why I have the background black, so that I don't have to see the box that's around there. And if we were going to take some time to do this, we would go ahead and crop that out and make it transparent and all that other stuff to make sure that we get the full sense. But we can make up for that box shape that's around our sprite in code if we need to. So that's how we add an animated GIF to the application. We added our targets, and the next thing we're going to do is make this thing move.